There's a number hidden on the Sam's Club price sign that tells you everything, and almost no member knows to look for it. It's tiny, it's tucked in the corner, and once somebody shows you where it is, you'll never shop that store the same way again. I'll get to exactly what it is in a minute because it's the key that unlocks this entire clearance season. But first, why I'm even making this video right now in the last stretch of August. I spent 31 years in the grocery and warehouse trade, 9 of them running a store, so I know what's happening on that floor this week, and it's the best clearance window Sam's Club runs all year. The summer stock has to go, every bit of it, and it has to go now. And the store will drop prices 50, 70, even 85% to make it disappear before the fall, and holiday freight takes the floor. That's not the store being generous, that's the store with a deadline, and a store with a deadline is the best friend a careful shopper ever had. So let me show you what's actually dropping, what's worth backing a cart up to, and what only looks like it. The little number on the sign that tells you a real markdown from a fake one, and the one thing on that clearance rack you should never buy, no matter how far it falls. 15 minutes. By the end, you'll read that store's clearance better than the person pushing the markdown cart down the aisle. First the number, because everything else depends on it. At Sam's Club, a price ending in a certain way is the regular everyday price, and it's staying, no hurry, but a price ending in a 1 or a penny is the store's own quiet signal that the item is on final markdown. That's the manager telling you right there on the sign, this one is clearing and it is not coming back. And you'll often see a little letter in the corner of the sign too, a C most commonly. That means the same hard thing. This is being closed out, discontinued at this club, gone when it's gone. I won't swear the exact ending to you down to the digit because these conventions shift, and I'd rather you trust the habit than a number I can't guarantee. So here's the habit. At a clearance sign, look at how the price ends and look for that corner letter and compare it to the ordinary prices around it. The odd ending and the little letter together are the store talking to itself about what it's desperate to move. And once you can read that, the whole clearance section lights up and tells you what's genuinely on its way out versus what's just sitting there at its normal price wearing a yellow tag. That's the key. Now let me show you what it unlocks, and the very best of it is coming near the end, so stay with me. The summer food and drink, this is the biggest and the best of the whole clearance, and here's the thing to understand about it. The lemonade mixes, the drink pouches, the snack multi-packs, the cookout and grilling goods, the summer-themed packaged food, all of it is being dumped at 50 to 85% off, and the food inside does not know it's August. A packet of drink mix in a bright summer package tastes exactly the same as it would in a plain one in October. The only thing being marked down is the picture on the front, because the store doesn't want summer artwork on its shelves come fall. So you're buying the calendar, not the quality, and that's the honest jewel of the whole event. 2 cautions, because I won't steer you wrong. Check the expiration date on anything you're storing. Most will be good well into next year, but look and do the quick math on the price against the size, the way you always should at a warehouse. Good date, thing you'll actually use. Back the cart up. This is where the real savings live. The seasonal outdoor stuff, the patio furniture, the grills, the coolers, the pool and lawn goods, the gazebos and umbrellas. This is where you'll see the 85% drops, the ones that look like a misprint, because these are big items that eat enormous floor space, and the store needs that space now for the holiday pallets. A grill or a patio set that sat all summer at full price will crater in these 2 weeks because the store would rather take almost nothing than store it or ship it back. Here's the move, and it's the same move for all the seasonal goods. You're buying a season ahead. A grill keeps, a patio set keeps, a cooler keeps just fine in the garage until next May. Buy the big outdoor thing now at 85 off, put it away, and you got next summer handled for pennies on the dollar while everybody else pays full freight in the spring. The only question to ask is whether you've got the room to store it, because that's the one real cost of buying a season early. The bulk cleaning and paper goods on markdown. Now, Sam's Club carries these year-round, so most of it isn't clearance, but watch for the closeout signs on the discontinued scents, the change packaging, the seasonal additions the maker won't run again. When a big pack of name brand detergent or paper goods carries that corner letter, it's the same product at a clearance price, marked down for no reason that has anything to do with what's inside. These are the safest clearance buys in the building because paper and soap don't spoil and you'll use every bit of it. Stock deep when the sign tells you it's clearing. Let me stop here and give you the one idea that makes this whole clearance window work, because without it, the low prices will cost you money instead of saving it. A markdown does something to your judgment. You see 80% off and your head says grab it before it ever asks the only question that matters. Would I have bought this thing at all if it weren't on sale? Because a thing you didn't need at full price is not a bargain at 80% off. It's money wasted, plus the space it eats in your house, plus one more object you now have to store and think about. That's the trap clearance sets. And it's baited with your own good sense of a deal. The whole skill is keeping two questions apart that the low price wants to smear into one. First, is this a good price? Second, and separately, do I actually want this thing? The store is betting a big enough yes to the first will make you forget to even ask the second. Don't let it. My own rule, and it has saved me more than any coupon ever did, before anything goes in the cart for real, I hold it a second and ask myself plainly how it gets used and when. If I can't answer that in one honest sentence, it goes back on the rack. Sounds too simple to matter. It's the difference between a clearance haul you use and a garage full of 80% off regret. Now back to the floor, because the next few are worth real money. The grocery markdowns, the perishables clearing tonight. This one people miss entirely, and it's some of the best value in the store. The meat, the bakery, the deli, the produce that's near its date but nowhere near bad. The store marks it down hard, often late in the day, to move it before it has to be tossed. A tray of good meat at half off that you cook this week or freeze tonight. A bakery item at a fraction of its price. That's real food at real savings. And the only trick is that you have to use it or freeze it soon. If you've got freezer room, the marked down meat is one of the smartest buys in the whole building, clearance sign or not. The end of season apparel, the summer clothing, the shorts, the swimwear, the light shirts, the sandals, gets cleared to make room for fall and winter stock, 50 to 70% off. Same logic as everything else. It's marked down for the calendar, not for any fault in the thing. If it fits and you'll wear it next summer, buy it now for almost nothing. The one honest caution, don't let cheap talk you into a closet full of clothes you'll never actually put on. Marked down or not, a shirt you don't wear cost you money. It didn't save you any. Buy what you'll truly use and leave the rest no matter how low it goes. The health and skin goods, and here I have to slow you down, the sunscreen, the bug spray, the summer skincare get cleared hard right now, and the discount is real, but there's a catch nobody at the register will mention. Sunscreen has an expiration date and it genuinely stops working. It loses its protection over time. And a cheap bottle bought now to use next summer may be rubbing on nothing but lotion, and that's a real burn on real skin that at our age doesn't heal like it used to. So on the sunscreen and the bug spray, check the date and only buy if you'll use it up in what's left of this warm stretch, not to store for next year. The rule is simple. Cheap doesn't matter if the thing has quietly stopped working. Read the date on anything that protects your body every single time. And here's the best of the whole clearance. The one I'd back a truck up for. The big ticket seasonal items nobody has room to store, sold at a loss to a person who does. Here's the secret at the heart of this window. The store's single biggest clearance headache is the large seasonal goods. The grills, the patio sets, the kayaks and paddle boards, the outdoor furniture, the seasonal appliances, they're huge. They eat the most floor space. They're the most expensive to store over the winter or ship back to a warehouse. And so they get cut the hardest and the fastest. The 85% drops live here. A patio set that was several $100s in June can fall to a price that genuinely looks like a mistake on the sign. The store is, in plain terms, paying you to take its storage problem off its hands. And the only thing standing between you and that deal is whether you have the room, The store doesn't. If you've got a garage corner or a shed or a spot in the basement, you can buy next summer's grill or patio furniture or cooler right now for pennies on the dollar, hold it a few months, and have handled a several $100 purchase for the price of a nice dinner. That's the whole game. Like the store's storage problem becomes your storage opportunity, and the size that makes it a headache for them is exactly what makes it a bargain for you. Now, the one thing you never buy, no matter how far it falls, anything cheap because it's junk, not because it's seasonal. This is the whole distinction. And the most important thing I'll say today, everything good I've shown you is cheap for a reason that has nothing to do with the product. The drink mix is fine, it's just August. The grill is fine, it's just taking up space the store needs. The detergent's fine, it's a discontinued scent. That's seasonal cheap and close out cheap, and that's a gift. But some things on that clearance rack are cheap because they were built to fail. Yeah, the flimsy electronics with a battery sealed inside you can't replace. Dead within the year, and then it's landfill, the gadget that cracks the second week, the off-brand thing nobody wanted for good reason. Those aren't cheap because of the calendar. They're cheap because they're no good, and no good at 85% off is still no good. You've just paid less to be disappointed. The test is one question: why is this marked down? If the answer is the season ended, or the store needs the floor, or the scent got discontinued, buy it. If the answer is nobody wanted it because it's poorly made, that markdown is the store trying to turn its buying mistake into your mistake, and you leave it right there on the rack. Let me tell you about a trip last week, because it's the whole thing in one cart. I'd gone in for a short list, some of the markdown meat for the freezer and a couple of ordinary things. The clearance signs caught me on the way in, so I worked them. A flat of drink mix at a fraction of its price, dates good into next summer, into the cart. A big pack of a discontinued scent detergent wearing that corner letter, half off, something I'll use every week for months. And then the find of the day, a good cooler, the big wheeled kind, marked down near 85% because the store wanted it gone. And I've got the garage room to hold it till next summer, so it came home. But here's the part that matters as much as what I bought. There was a cheap outdoor speaker on that same rack, sealed battery, marked down to almost nothing, and I stood there holding it in the heat, tempted the way anybody is by a big number on a small sign. Then I asked the question, why is this really marked down? And it wasn't the season. Plenty of summer left for a speaker. It was marked down because the battery's sealed and it'll be dead inside a year, and everyone who picked it up worked that out. Junk on clearance is still junk. I put it back and I don't regret it, and the money went into the cooler I'll use for a decade instead. That's the entire skill in one trip. Buy what's cheap because of the calendar or the floor space. Skip what's cheap because it's built to fail. And ask every time before it goes in the cart, how does this get used and why is it really this cheap? So here's what I'd have you actually do this week, and it's small, because small is what gets done. Go to Sam's Club in the next few days while this window's still open, and before you grab a single thing, just walk the clearance and read it. Find the odd price endings in the corner letters and learn to tell the real markdowns from the ordinary prices in yellow. Then buy narrow and buy smart. The summer food with good dates, the markdown meat if you got freezer room, and one big seasonal item for next year if you got the space to store it. The grill, the patio set, the cooler, whatever you'll genuinely use come spring. Run every last thing through the one question: cheap because of the calendar or cheap because it's junk? Calendar, buy it. Junk, leave it, no matter the number on the sign. Now, I'd like to hear from you, because you'll turn up things I'd never find on my own. Tell me the deepest markdown you ever walked out of a warehouse store with. The one where the price was so low you looked at the receipt twice to be sure it rang up right. I read these, and I promise you some of them will have me driving over to check my own clearance rack this week. And tell me this too, because it's the more useful one. Do you have the room to buy a season ahead, and do you do it? Are you the kind who buys next summer's grill in August and stores it in the garage? Or does the space just not exist in your life? Because that one factor, whether you've got somewhere to put it, decides more of your savings at a warehouse store than anything else. And I'd like to know how it shakes out for the people watching. Read the sign, ask why it's really that cheap, and never confuse cheap because it's August with cheap because it's junk.